Hey y'all, Samantha, Swirls and Swags, Door Decor. Welcome. If y'all was with me the other day, was working on our wreath with the butterfly. I made the bow and we fixed up some of our mesh that I had needed to tweak. So anyway, if you didn't catch it, it's still available for another 20 something days. And it'll be on YouTube as well eventually. So anyway, point being, this bow, we have butterflies and we want all our butterflies going upwards. On the ribbon, they only go in one direction. They're not willy-nilly. They're not turning in different directions. They're all going up, okay? So when we do our bow, we want to make sure that our butterflies still go up. I'm going to show you two different methods. So this is the one that I did what we call a hack, which when you make your bow, you're just going to flip the upside down loop over completely and tie it in. Then I'm going to show you how you would cut it and not have, like if it was a big bow, you wouldn't want to twist a lot of your ribbon loops because that's going to get real bulky. So I'm going to show you both. But so anyway, this is our bow. You can't tell that I flipped anything. You can't tell nothing, especially if you're sticking it in a wreath or anything. It's not going to be messed with. It's not going to twist back. And plus you want to make sure that when you do twist it with your pipe cleaner and zip ties and such, that you do make sure that that flip is tight in that cinch, okay? So let me show you the first method, which is the hack, okay? I've done this about 500 times, so this is take 422. And there goes a gnat. Oh, good gravy. Okay, so starting off, let me aim you down, because I had a viewer, Miss Sweet Mary, who wanted me to show this up close, zoomed in. And so I have really, this is the third time I've tried to do it. Point being. So this is the hack method. Don't matter how big of a bow you're making, okay? So I'm not going to make it giant, but I am going to come up with like a 6+ inch tail up here. And we're just going to make a bow like we normally would, okay? However many loops, whatever you want to do, however big, you can make the whole bow with one directional ribbon. Now, when it has words like Merry Christmas is coming up, and a lot of ribbon has Merry Christmas. When you do, if you decide to cut it, you want to try to be mindful of where you're cutting. And I'll kind of explain that in a minute. So I'm just still making a regular bow, and I'm just going to do these 2 loops on each side and then come down. Again, you can make a huge bow. It does not matter, okay? You keep doing loopy-loopy-loops, all right? And then we're going to come down here and we're going to cut our tail. If I had some decent scissors. Point being. Okay, so as you see, let me do it this way. You can see, and I hope you can because it's hard for me to see because my lighting, my phone, different phone. So these are going up, these are going up, and these are going up. So when we twisted, that made those that we twisted on our bottom loops, they're upside down. Even our tail, they're going correct, okay? So everything's going up except for the bottom 2 loops. So all I'm going to do is pull these out of the way and give this a complete turn. And voila, they're going up, okay? So pull that out of the way. I'm trying to watch it in the phone and turn that one complete loop, okay? So when you do that, now all of our butterflies are going up, okay? All one way. So all we did was twist that completely around. Now let me show you something. I have a pipe cleaner, and what I want to do is when I pull this out, you want to be careful because if you don't get where you turned them in that cinch, they can just flip back around like they went, okay? Now you see how that's kind of not even? Make sure that where you did twist it, because that's where we twisted it, that you get that in there as best you can when you go to it. I like zip tying mine, just to be honest, because that keeps it tight. And it's also easier on my hands. But anyway, Say you're not, you're using wire or a pipe cleaner. Twist, get it up there tight and twist the ribbon. Now, open it up. Let's see. Go do something. Hang on, I can't see. Oh yeah. Now that one twisted back. Okay, hang on. So that one twisted. I may have done it accidentally when I was putting it in there, not paying attention. So the reason I'm going to show you the other method is because you don't have to worry about this as much. So let me turn that over, and where I did twist, I'm going to just turn my pipe cleaner back around and give it one more real good tightening so that that does not try to flip back without my say-so. Okay. So don't be scared, to play and use some old ribbon like Dollar Tree or something and play around with it. Get something that's one directional. If it don't have a direction on it, take you a Sharpie or marker or something and put an arrow on it. Whatever, get you some one-way ribbon and play with it. But that turns out fine. And no one really knows that you just flipped that one loop that was upside down. Okay. And then you would go about your day. Fluff it out. Look, we can fluff bows till the cows come home, y'all. But you do want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. It's better. It's more pleasing to the eye. And people do notice sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So, but when, like I said, especially if you're doing a wreath, once you put that in your wreath, those ribbons ain't going to twist and move. Okay? All right, so let me show you the other method where you would be cutting it. And when you're cutting, you want to have, this is, yeah, I hate this thin wire. And back when I first started, this is 26 gauge. And it came from one of my local stores. It's got a 26 right here. It says 26 gauge. Okay. So the bigger the number, the bigger the gauge, the thinner the wire. 26, everybody cries and gripes and says, oh, it breaks. Yes, because it's thin as the wind. When I use wire, really, truthfully, I never use anything less than 22. And this is my preferred. This came from Michael's. Does it say 22? Yes. Right down here on the bottom, it says 22 gauge. Okay. So the smaller the number, the bigger the wire. The bigger the number, the thinner the wire. So 22 is really good. It is thick. It is really thick. It's not easy to like straighten out the kinks in a 22. Okay. That's why I use it. You could use a pipe cleaner. You can do it with the 26, and then when you get done, you definitely want to make sure you secure it with a better wiring or zip tie or something, because this 26 can break very easily. I've heard many stories. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. I'm not going to do a great big bow again, so I'm just pulling off, I don't know, 12, 16, whatever inches, 14. If you're making a great, well, that just went on the floor. If you're making a great big bow, then you're going to want more wire. And depending, like if it's 2.5 or 4 inch, you're going to need even more wire. Where did that just flip to? Good gravy. It couldn't have went far, y'all. I'm sitting right here. I don't even know. Cut another piece. I'll find it when I get done. It's probably on me. I don't know. And y'all, please be careful when you're cutting ribbon, wired ribbon. You want to be careful because every time you cut wire, the ribbon, there's little pieces of wire that gets everywhere. I have all kind of magnets, and this is a telescopic one. I got it from Dollar Tree or Dollar General. I don't even know. I've had it for decades. I think Dollar Tree, because I think I bought another one, because I have one somewhere else. Anywho, point being, I think I got one in my club. I don't know. Anyway, so we're taking the 26 gauge wire, and I'm going to put it in my bow maker. Just lay it in there, okay? You can flip it under, and that would be best, just for the moment. Now, what I was doing on my one way on the ribbon is when they're all going one way, the bottom strip, you can cut one piece to be the bottom. So if you want the tails and the top tail and the bottom tail to be 20 inches, then cut from top to bottom, cut you a 20-inch piece. This piece is about not quite 16 inches. Okay, so, but I always put more at my top than I do. I put less at the top than I do at the bottom of the bow. Okay, so I'm sorry, my nose is itching now. Let me get this one out of the way. All right, so that's one piece, and they're all going upwards. That way you don't have to worry about that back, tail. That's just your tail. So then when we come around to make our loop, if you want a 7-inch loop, then you want to make it about an 8-inch, because when you do this, you're going to want about an inch to go between the dowel and where your loop is. Okay, so if you want it to be 5-inch loop, then cut you about a 6-inch. Okay, and I mean 6 by one side, because what we're going to do is piece it together. So if you know, you know. Some people call it Edward Scissorhands. All right, so I'm going to make a 6-inch loop. So I'm just going to make sure that I have about an inch on the other side of my dowel. Okay, and I'm going to cut. Then I'm going to place it and turn your tail on this side so it's got a twist in it. Okay, because if you don't put a twist, it's going to pop right out. So you still want to make that twist. Make sure this side, your loop, is going the correct way. Okay, it's going up. All our butterflies are flying to my right, which is probably left to you. I don't know. All right, but you want that twist right there so it doesn't just come out. Now, here's where your wire comes in. Here, let's put you can either wire it here, which means I'm going to take this and I'm going to cross it through my dowels. And so if I pick this up, it should pick them all. See that? It's picking them all up. Because we put this wire underneath to begin with, and then we laid our one strip, and then we just cut a loop at 6 inches, but left an inch on the end. So when you fold it, it's about 7 inches. Okay, leaving you an inch here. Then we tied that, and you want to pull it as tight as you can without breaking, because it is 26 gauge. Now, if you want this bottom loop to be bigger, say you want, because we did 6 up here, maybe you want to go 8 down here on the bottom. Okay, so if we go 8, I'm just trying to make sure that whatever I cut, that I have at least an inch on this side of the dowel. Okay, so I can twist it. So 8, a little over 8 inches, about 9, 8.5, 9 inches. Okay, then what you want to do is make sure they're going in the right direction, and twist here and place it in. Put your twist, make sure they're going in the right direction, and they are. They're going upwards. And again, you want to come in, and we're going to cross it and tie it in. If you're not sure, when you lift it up, they're all together. Okay, so when I lift up my wire, they're together. So then pull that back out. You want another strip in there for the top and the bottom tails, do another one. Okay, we don't have to twist it in the center, because we're just going to come straight down. All right, so we want another tail right here. That's just one strip. Got you another strip and stick it in there. I'm not going to say twist your wire right here, because that's just one strip. We didn't twist or anything, so I think you're safe until you do another twist. So if we want to do another loop at the top, maybe, a little smaller, because that's usually what you do, is you go a little smaller, unless you're making a bow that's all the same size, and a lot of people do, especially during the holiday. They use one ribbon for the whole wreath, and that's fine. Just make sure that your letters or your words or your images are going the same direction. All right, so this one I'm doing like at 6, so I made it about 7 inches. We're going to cut it off. We're going to make sure that our loops are going the same direction. Our butterflies are going up. We're going to twist this piece here, give you about an inch, and stick it in your bow. Okay, in your bow maker. You can do it by hand, but this is really not easy, holding all this and twisting it. Okay, now we want to do another one down here at the bottom, And we're going to do it just a little shorter than our other one. Okay. Just because that's typically how we do it. And typically people have good scissors, but not me. I need new scissors. All right. And so we're going to twist that 1 inch. And we're going to stick it in there. Now, I didn't tie it down that last time, but I'm going to bring it around. I'm going to cross my wire. And I'm going to really tighten it down as tight as I can. So when you pull it out, it's all together. Then, say that's the end of your bow. All our butterflies are in the same direction. There's not a bunch of twisting because we cut everything piece by piece. We're going to turn it over. We're going to bring it around our wire on the back side. And we're going to try to twist that down as tight as you can. Okay, and then twist. Okay, at this point is where I would grab me. Now I should have put another ribbon right there. Okay, so let me show you something. See how that's got that little cut piece? We don't want that. So let me pull this back up. Let me stick this back in here. Now when you're doing one-way ribbon, when you start, you bring your ribbon up this way, they're going to be in the right direction. So you really didn't have to worry. But if you wanted another loop or, a tail, because we don't want just that one. You don't want that piece shining. So you either want to make that a whole loop or put you another tail. So I'm going to put a little splice of a tail in. We're just going to make it small. And then we're going to twist that in. Bring that wire up. Bring this wire up. Cross it. Making sure that your butterflies, and make sure that your ribbon's laying flat now, because this is a good way to really get it tight and make sure that your ribbon is flat like you need it. And then we're going to pull it back out and then pull it back around. And I want to show you one more thing. Okay, so when you do this, like I said, I would definitely zip tie. This 26 gauge is so thin you could literally use it for shoestrings. So then I'm going to cut that wire off. I've twisted it a couple of times. I want to cut it off. Throw that away. I'm going to grab a zip tie. I'll have clear just because. Oh, take that wire you just cut and bend it over and smash it into the back of your bow. So one, you don't hurt yourself, or two, your customer or anything else. Now, we're going to use a zip tie. And what I didn't do the other day is have a pipe cleaner handy when I did this. And again, I don't today. So I used it instead while ago. So let me grab one more. And I wanted to show you where I didn't have where I zip tied it before I had my pipe cleaner. I have a darning needle, y'all. You can get them in the sewing section at Walmart. I think they're actually in the knitting section, not sewing. I learned that the hard way. But this is what they look like from Walmart. They're called yarn. I've always called them darning needle. Maybe they, anyway, that's what they look like. I have extras in there from another pack. So what I did was I took it and I just kind of put my my pipe cleaner through the needle, just like you was threading it. And I went up under my bow where I had zip tied it. And I just went up under there and added my pipe cleaners. Okay. Now that was a 20. No, I tied two together. I do have some 20 inches and they're over here beside me. I forgot. So anyway, so obviously you do want to put your pipe cleaner or whatever you're going to use if you need anything to attach it to your wreath, and then tighten your pipe cleaner down. Zip tie, y'all, words. Tighten your zip tie with your pipe cleaner so you can attach it to your design, and then cut your, come off. Okay. Then what you want to do, just now that you've got it really tight and secure, you can go back and you can cut all these little pieces so that it's not as waddy, it's not poking out. you know, people can't really see that, okay? Because now that you've got it secured in there, don't cut it so short, but you can cut it pretty flush because you've got it in there tight with a wire, a zip tie, and all that. So now it's safe. You can go back and cut that extra. And so it's not real bulky, or it's not shining out, it's not sticking out, etc. But you go through it. And if you've got a pro bow the hand, this is exactly how she teaches you, Regina. She teaches you this exact kind of method, but it's on her bow maker, not the Easy Bow. I just like the Easy Bow. It's, you know, it's our go-to fast bow maker, especially when you got bad hands. Okay, so now we're going to turn it around and just fluff your bow. I think I got that one a little twisted. Okay. Okay, and all our butterflies, hold on, where's that one? I think that one went to the back. It did. I pulled him up in the wrong spot. That's what happened with him. All right, so just pull your ribbons, make sure nothing's moved or twisted back, and it shouldn't, because that 26 is very easy to really get tight. But all your butterflies are going in the right direction, okay? And that's how the two different methods of making a bow using one directional ribbon. Okay. That's how we do it. Okay. And when you want to make your bows, if you're new to making bows, once you cut your tails and all that, however, do your fingers just like we used to do back when we was kids. And if you're young, then you might not know, but you just take your scissors and run it up the ribbon. See how much, the more you do that, the more you warm that wire up, the more it's going to curl, okay? And so that's all you're doing is running your fingers around it, okay? And then you can fluff it now, or you can put it on your wreath and then fluff it, either way. And I do have, for those who didn't see or may not have saw it the other day when I was live, I do have a bow fluffer. It's my own creation. My old man cuts trees for a living, so he had me a piece of crepe myrtle, and I was going to make something with it. And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to make. I know I have to pick all those wires up in a minute. So anyway, so I took the crepe myrtle. It's about 3 inches wide. Yeah. 3 inches. And this one is actually about, what is it? 12, 13 inches wide. It doesn't really matter. You could take two 2x4s, two 2x8s, or 2x10, 2x12, whatever you got, and just cut equal sizes and nail them together, glue and nail them tight. I went over this with shellac, polyurethane, but there's a hook in the center and there's a nail at the bottom. And what that is for is so when you take your pipe cleaners or your wire, whatever you've made your bow with, you can hook it around the hook. Hold on, I'm going the wrong way because I got it upside down. Okay, let me do it right. So take your bow, hook it around that hook, and then take the end and you go around your nail. So that nail just needs to be barely up, but it's got a big fat head on it so that your wire will stay to it. Now, because that wire is not really that great, but I can pick up that whole bow maker. That's our bow fluffer. And that's the point of it, is that it sits where you want it. So you can pull and twist and do whatever you need to do to your ribbons to put them how you want them. You manhandle it on this. And that's the best thing about it. Regina Sellers does sell them. You can get them pre-made by her. And all's love. That ribbon did slide on me because I see that cut piece right there. So I want to pull that back over. And if it gets, or you can't get it right, once you fluff and you got it like you want it, because that's what it's for, once it's where you want it, you can always take a small piece, however big you need it. This is probably way more than I obviously need. And you can fold it in thirds. You can glue it, or you can just take it. Now let me unhook the wire from the nail. When you unhook it from the nail, you can just slide your bow right off the hook. Now I'm having a little difficulty because I'm just trying to hurry so this ain't so long. But then take your ribbon that corresponds and tie it around the center And that hides a lot of anything that could possibly shine. Okay, so that's another fix to that. Also, while I'm on here, I have had so many people, I've seen and had so many people who really does not know. You know, if you read the directions, it'll tell you. But there's a little uh, dowel, right here. A lot of people don't know why. That little dowel is so you can make little beauty ribbons. Okay? Because if you take that real thin little trimming ribbon, you can't take it and put it way up here between these dowels. See, those dowels are what, 6 inches? Hold on. Oh, they're almost 7 inches. So the point is, let me turn it to y'all. Let me see. Let me turn it this way. That stick right there. I want y'all to see. All right. So when you put your ribbon in and you go to twist, you don't have to go very far up to make your loop. Now I'm doing this at a sideways, so that ain't easy. Okay? But imagine having to do that and come way up here to make a little bitty loop. That's why you got this short one. So let me show y'all the real way. So you would take your ribbon and you would do just like you would any bow, but you've got that little dowel so you can get your ribbon over it. Instead of trying to come way up here and twist it, you can make this as small and teeny as you want. As small or as big as a loop you want. You know, a lot of girls, their mamas y'all be making them for your girls cheerleading and stuff. And people sell these bows and stuff at fairs all the time. And that's how they can do it easily, you know, especially again, if you got troubles with your hands. And we got a little bitty bow, y'all. That bow is 1 inch on each side. So that's a 2-inch bow. You want it smaller? Make it smaller. You got thinner ribbon? Use your thinner ribbon. Wired, not wired, it don't matter. But that little pole there, that little dowel is so you can make ribbons for your hair. Hair bows, y'all. Hair bows. Not what is it? Hair bow? What is it? Y'all, the candy. I don't know. But that is how to make 2 different methods of our one-way ribbon bows, y'all. You're really close. Sorry. So you can do the hack where you just spin that one loop that's upside down, or you can sit here and chop it up and be Edward Scissorhands, as some people like to call it. I've done both. It's just whatever your preference is, whatever you like, okay? But you do want to use thin wire to tie each piece in, okay? All right, y'all. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. I hope this helped. If you have any questions or you'd like to see something up close and personal, let me know. And if I can, I will. Have a great afternoon. Bye.